So, okay, Abdul Latif, what up with you, man? So if you never learn how to choose the right woman, or how to, let's not even say choose the right woman, because all you got to do is avoid the wrong women. If you never learn how to properly avoid the wrong women, maybe your mama was a wrong woman. Maybe your grandma was a wrong woman. Maybe your sisters were the wrong women. Maybe your aunties were the wrong women. Maybe you grew up in an environment where all the women were wrong, but no one ever taught you about the wrong woman. Yes, in your mind, all women are the same. All women are bad. All women will do the exact same thing all the time because all of your experiences are bad. But I'm going to give you some information from a man who has not had these issues with women. I've never had my heart broken. Any issues that I've ever had with a woman was based on the decision that I made. Either I lied to the woman, or I misled the woman, or I told it was what it wasn't, or that it wasn't what it was. It was always on me. I've never put myself in a situation where a woman had the power to hurt me. But if those situations went bad, it was always because I led them down that path. Why? Because I'm a leader. I'm a man. I was taught from early on that a man is meant to lead not just his life, but the life of the woman who's with him. And if you don't know how to choose the right woman by avoiding the wrong woman, you're going to have a bunch of sob stories. So I want you to be able to choose a woman who won't take you to court and take half of your shit in divorce. I want you to choose a woman who won't have a baby with you just so she can get child support. I want you to be able to know a woman who won't even put you on child support because she's a woman who would rather do it herself than to put you on child support. I want you to know how to avoid the scallywags, the Jezebels. And any woman that's listening, I want you to know how to check yourself and make sure that you're the type of man that you're the type of woman that a quality man would want. So let's get into it. Let's get into it. Sharp, what up with you, man? I see you in the joint. Salute to you, man. Salute. You know I know who you are, man. Salute. Devin of the Six. All right, so let's get into it, man. I'm gonna leave the chat open for a while, man, until we get some foolishness in here, man. Tyre John, I see you, man. I see you. Leo Graham, I see you. All right, so let's get into it. First of all, I want you to know this. There's a couple of elephants in the room. If a woman has been intimate with men, but she's never had a husband, that woman is a hoe. Now, she may not be wilding out and having all these, but that's not what's biblically defined as a hoe. And that term, whore, is a biblical term. So I want you to understand, even she may have been raised that way, but that doesn't negate the fact that she has been that way. So you can't very well turn around and marry that woman who's been giving her body, her soul, her spirit, her interest, and all of that to other men without being married to them. She doesn't deserve to be your wife. So that's the first woman you eliminate. So if you grew up with a woman and you know people that she's been intimate with, you're a fool to make that woman your wife when you know people who she has played with and laid with. It doesn't make sense to do that. So the goal is to eliminate the type of women that you don't need to be around. You understand me? So let's talk. First of all, you have to understand that emotional attachment and attraction are two different things. As men, we become emotionally attached to a woman based on our attraction to her. Women don't do that. Women don't become emotionally attached based on attraction. We will. So we will attach ourselves emotionally to a woman who looks good, but she's rotten to the core internally. She could be the most beautiful woman we've ever met, but she could be the worst scallywag that we've ever known. But we'll emotionally attach to her because we can't separate attraction from attachment. Attraction just arouses you. That's all attraction is. We all want a woman who arouses us. But then when you take the intimate aspect, the physicality of it away, what else does that woman have? So you have a society that tells you as a man that it's your job to provide for a woman. No, it's your job to provide for your family. So if you can't eliminate a woman because she thinks you're supposed to pay her, then you're going to end up emotionally attached to a woman that you should have just been attracted to. That's how a man gets into a situation where he's married to a woman who cheats on him the entire time. If your wife has cheated on you the entire time, it's because you married a scallywag. It's not because she's wives are bad. It's because you chose the wrong woman to put in that situation. There are women who won't cheat on their husband. Not all women are going to cheat on their husband. But most men marry a woman who doesn't respect them. That's the first thing. Forget love. You don't want a woman's love. You want a woman's respect. You want her reverence. You want a slight dose of fear. The fear of losing you, the fear of upsetting you, the fear of not satisfying you, the fear of not pleasing you. You want all of those things. But you're in a society that tells you that you should have those things. And the worst part is that many of these men out here tell you that, because these men are caught up in just the physical attraction of women. Let me tell y'all something right now. If you're in your 20s, you're in your 30s, and all you think about is being intimate with women, being sexually involved with women, that's fine. It's normal for that age. It's not right, but it's normal for that age. But if you're a man and you're in your 40s and your 50s and you still around here bragging about how much you get laid, you have arrested development. So you have to avoid information from men who have arrested development, not because they're bad, but because they're no further along than you are. If all you've gotten from women that's beneficial to you or that you can value is intimacy, then you can't be fool enough to believe that a woman's only value is her body. Those are just the women you've been choosing. I'm here to tell you now that women, the right woman, a proper woman, can greatly benefit what it is you're doing in your life. But you have to be man enough to stand on the principle of self-preservation in order for you to be able to even hold out for that woman. Because once you settle for a woman who only has physicality to give you, you're going to miss out on a woman who could give you more. That's why you can't think with your wood. You have to learn self-control and discipline. That's why we teach things like eating properly. We teach things like working out. We teach these things so you can develop discipline. If you develop discipline in one area, it's easier for you to develop discipline in other areas because you hold yourself to a higher standard. And you can't hold yourself to you can't hold anyone to a higher standard unless you hold yourself to a higher standard as well. And that's what the goal is. The goal is to set a standard for you and then enforce it on the people that you allow into your life. You can't go out to the world and tell people what to do. But what you can do, is implement that and enforce it on everyone that you allow into your life. That must be a prerequisite for someone for you to allow someone into your life. So even when you hear someone says the majority of women aren't wifey material, well, when the last time you met a woman that had a PhD in her own business? When the last time you met a woman who was a doctor, a physician? When the last time you met a woman who was a high-powered attorney? See, if you're going out to clubs, you're going out to bars, and you following this dating coach bullshit, you're not going to meet those type of women, because that just leads to you two having sex with women who just want sex. And the majority of the time, women who just want sex haven't focused enough on anything to make it to that level. So you got to think about what you want in life and think about what kind of woman can contribute to that. If you're not looking at a woman as a contributor, you're dropping the ball, because God put women here to be a helpmeet. So you have to look at a woman from the perspective of what she can contribute to your life. We're not talking about what she can bring to the table. We're not talking about any of that. We're talking about you have something you're building over here, and you have never had any dead weight in this situation. Never. You have never been dead weight. You have cut off your friends for being dead weight. You have cut off your family for being dead weight. You have left circumstances. You have left conditions. You have left areas. Hell, sometimes you leave your whole city and move to another state or move to another country to cut off dead weight. So you can't then turn around and say, okay, I'll bring a woman into my life and she can be dead weight. That's a sucker's outlook. So when I tell you men to practice pimp principles, I'm not. It has nothing to do with dealing with hoes. It has something to do with understanding that principle and applying it to a woman. You have something in your life that's valuable, so everyone who attaches to it has to bring value to it. Or if they're not bringing value to it, they're sifting value from it. So if you're not going to museums and you're not going to art galleries and you're not going to like high level business functions, I'm not talking about a meet and greet or a mixer. I'm not talking about none of that hood shit. That's the problem. You don't know how to overlook the low level woman because of your need to be overly attracted or not. I won't say overly attracted. I'll say overly sexualized. You need to be able to visually sexualize a woman. So she need to have on little clothes. She need to expose parts of her body. That's what you think is attractive. But you have to overlook that and get to the point where what's truly attractive in a woman is what she can contribute to what it is you're building. Now, if you're not building anything, then that don't apply to you. You don't need to worry about a woman anyway. You need to focus on what you're building. I'll say this. You got to understand this. If you want a good woman, first you have to be a good man. Look at that. Look at that. Look what Homer just said. Great minds, listen, man. Wise minds think alike. Righteous minds think alike. I want y'all to understand, man, you have to be a high quality man. And if you around here just lusting and chasing all these women just so you can get laid, and you around here playing this old dating game and whining and dining and just so you can do some bumping and grinding and all that, man, you don't deserve a good woman. If you are a scallywag man, you deserve a scallywag woman. If you're a whoremonger man, you deserve a whorish woman. You have to establish yourself as an abnormal man. See, let me tell y'all something. Let me tell y'all the trick. This is a trick of the enemy. Let me tell y'all what happens. You have all of these people telling you, you have to be above average. You have to be above average. You have to be above average. Well, that's easy to do. All you got to do is look at the average and be above it. If the average income per capita in your city is $36,000 a year and you make $72,000 a year, you have doubled up the average income per capita. So financially in your area, you are above average. It's not about being above average. It's about not being normal. Oh, it just bit me right there. Summertime in the South, man, bugs everywhere. But so you have to ask yourself, what does it mean to not be normal? What do normal people do? Normal people, they go out to clubs every weekend. They go out and try to meet women. They go out and try to get laid. They talk about how much they get laid. That's all they focus on. They go buy a whole bunch of expensive clothes and expensive jewelry and all that just to impress a woman. Or they drive a car that they think a woman might like. And they do all of those things that lead to one thing, lead to them getting laid. And they have a fear of allowing a woman any closer to them, because whenever they allow a woman to get close, they did what I first said. They allow the attraction to lead them into emotional attachment. So they're attracted to a woman. She's attracted to them, but she doesn't want to get emotionally attached. They do. But if you're going to do enough for a woman, here's the type of woman you want to avoid. If a woman doesn't like you, you don't want to deal with a woman who doesn't like you, but she'll take money from you. And guys always say, man, that's all women do that. No, they don't. I've been meeting women my whole life, man, that if we do something, they'll pay. If they invite me somewhere, they automatically pay. Hey, you want to go here with me? I already got the tickets. It'd be great seats. We go to dinner. She's like, well, I already made the reservation. She pays for dinner. She does these things because she wants me to know that she can bring value. The problem is, if you're going to deal with 1,000 women, you might have to deal with 800 of those before you get to a woman who brings value, because you won't eliminate certain women. So let me tell you something. A woman who has an ulterior motive will portray any role you want her to portray, as long as she's compensated for her acting job. A woman will be whoever you want her to be if she can get paid for it. That's a woman who's looking to get paid. And I'm telling you this from a man who has dealt with hundreds of women who are educated with multiple degrees. They're different. A woman who's educated with multiple degrees and she's making good money, she has no problem with spending her money. She has no problem with it. It's the type of situation where instead of you always taking her out, a woman will she'll just once she figures out what your favorite meal is or what you really like, she'll pick it all up and come to your crib and cook it for you. Or she'll pick it all up and cook it at her home, and you go visit her and she's got it all laid out. She's got everything laid out for you. If you drink, then she's got your favorite drink. If you don't, she's got whatever you want. This is a woman who wants to show you that she has value because she sees you have value. You got two kind of women. You got a woman who sees that you have value and she wants to show you that she has value because she understands that she putting her value with your value gives y'all an increased amount of value. And you have the woman who sees that you have value and she just want to extract your resources. How in the hell do you as a man end up married to a woman who just wants to extract your resources? I'll tell you how. You haven't been taught how to properly avoid the bad ones because you can't wait them out before you get attached. You have to get to the point where there's certain women you won't even be intimate with because you know they bring no value. See, let me tell y'all something. Faithfulness and submission are mutually exclusive if a woman chooses for them to be. So a woman can submit to you through her actions and through her immediate actions, but not be faithful to you. In the reality, faithfulness and submission, the same thing. Faithfulness is a part of submission. A woman can't submit to you if she's intimate with someone else. That's why it makes no sense for you to believe that another man's woman is the best thing for you. She's never the best thing for you. It's impossible for another man's woman to be the best thing for you. You're a fool if you believe that. It doesn't make sense. So, and it's easy to get caught up in the trap because we as men want to approve ourselves. Somewhere along the line in this society, we were told that it was our job to prove ourselves to a woman. It's the biggest crock ever. A woman was put here to prove herself worthy of you. But only if you are a quality man. You know, we hear the word high value man. Let me tell y'all something. The most condescending term that somebody could call me is a high value man, because that just means I make a lot of money. It has nothing to do with my value system. Anybody can be a high value man. The dirtiest, scummiest guy in the world could be a high value man if it just means how much money you make. It's easy to do that. Figure out the thing that you have a passion for and pursue it with fervor. You're probably going to end up making some money from it. But you have to require more of yourself because a high value man is 9 times out of 10 going to end up with a low value woman. If you lead with your wallet, no relationship you have with a woman will ever be solid. You can't expect it to be. Also, there is no moral fiber to govern a woman who uses her body to extract resources from men. If a woman has been dating multiple men to see what she can get out of them, she has no moral fiber. She's a Jezebel. She's wicked. So when you have guys telling you to be a part of a woman's roster or be one of the men that's chasing her, those guys are emotionally weak. You can't be an emotionally weak man and go out into the world and deal with women and think you're going to be able to cipher through or siphon the bad ones out of the bunch and figure it out, because you have one way of approaching all women, one way of interacting with all women, and you simply can't do that unless it's you just being your authentic self. There is no game. If you're using game to get women, all you're doing is getting laid. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I have no respect for a man who old as hell and still around here bragging about getting laid. We've been getting laid since high school, man. Even if you didn't start till you were 21, if you 41 now, you still bragging about the same thing you've been doing for 21 years. Why? Because you haven't figured out how to get anything else from a woman. You're not worthy of anything else from a woman. That's why they don't give you nothing else. And that's why you wouldn't even try to interact with a woman who looks like she has more to offer, because you know you don't deserve that. But I want you men to deserve that. I want you to feel like if there's a woman who is ready to put in with a man and see what they can build or see how she can help him build, I want you to be in the mindset that you're worthy of that. But first thing you got to do is learn how to control your D, man. You got to control your wood. If you can't control your wood, a woman will always be able to control you. So you got guys who are married and they getting put on sex rations and they being treated in a way where, they can't even get it when they want to. This is your wife and you got to beg and plead and you got to complain and y'all got to go to marriage counseling and all that. Man, you chose the wrong woman because you know that woman's history. That's why when it come down to these women with multiple kids by multiple men, a woman with multiple kids by multiple men has been living her life as a scallywag. If a woman got 3 kids by 3 men, dog, she been living her life as a scallywag. That means she been intimate with multiple men, unprotected, exposing herself to all types of interactions and all type of exchanges. You cannot deal with that woman. You cannot let her say, well, I'm not the same anymore. Yes, hell, she is the same. A woman who lives her life a certain way is cursed. You can't allow that to come into your life. As a man, you have to avoid that. It's up to a woman to live her life in a way that makes her presentable to a quality man, a godly man, a righteous man, a spiritually astute man, a man who truly, truly does things the right way. And I will say this, you got to stop looking in the areas you're looking for women if you want to have a better quality of woman. That's why I tell you, I don't deal with women who be all online doing all that online shit. I don't deal with women who be online, because women who be online, they adapt the online woman mindsets. They adapt I call it the podcast punani. They develop that podcast punani, where they start listening to all this stuff on these podcasts and they develop that right there. That ain't the way it's supposed to be. And I'm going to be honest with you. Y'all think the majority of women are like that, but you got to remember this. Let's say something like YouTube. Only about 30 to 35% of YouTube viewership is in the United States. 65 to 70% of YouTube viewership is outside of the United States. So I'm telling you, this podcast mindset, it represents a very small pocket of women. But if you as a man are trapped on that podcast shit, you think it's the same, because all you do is sit around and listen to the podcast women talk the same foolishness. And those very podcast women interact with them in person. They ain't like nothing that they say on there. Just like most of these guys they ain't like what they say they are. Most of these guys ain't cold with a bra like that. Most of these guys don't stand on principle like that. Most of these guys ain't gamed up like that. Most of these guys don't have no confidence when they talk to women like that. And this ain't knocking nobody. I'm just saying it's easy for everybody to pile in and act like we all the same on social media. Everybody can just start regurgitating the same things and reiterating the same things, and then it seems like everybody gamed up. But then to be honest with you, bro, if you are a man and you are using game and all you getting is laid, then not only are you a trick, you're a dumb trick. If you got to spend a whole lot of time whining and dining a woman and spending all this time with her, spending time and money, and all you want to get is get laid, you're a dumb trick. A smart trick, just say, okay, how much money it's going to take? If you're going to be a trick, be a smart trick. How much money they going to take? Here you go. Let's have fun for the night, and then we go head somewhere else if you're going to be a trick. But if you out here doing all that whining and dining, man, you ain't got no game. You're a trick. Game is a word that comes from pimp culture. Game is what a man uses that when he got the Jews and twos to make a woman break all the rules. So when you have game, you can make a woman go out and use her body to get thousands of dollars a night and bring it all home to you. These guys disrespecting game. They disrespecting the game. Somebody just mentioned Beyonce. When you look at a guy like Jay, it wouldn't make any sense for him to be with anybody less than lower than Beyonce on the totem pole when it comes to how she's living, how she's getting it, how she's about business. She came to him, he took over her career and put her in another stratosphere. She didn't become Beyonce until he took over her career. And that's just how it is. If you look at ASAP Rihanna, it's not the same. ASAP don't have that type of power and control over her career because he came into a situation and she was the power player. Now, he got her. He dropping babies on her like a mug. But you got to think about this. Many women in this day and age, they'll have some babies. When a woman feel like her career is complete and she's ready to have some babies, she'll have some babies. But that doesn't empower you as a man unless you already are empowered. And what you have to do as a man is make sure that you are in absolute control of your own life. You can't have no vices. You can't have nothing that you can't resist. You can have nothing that you can't avoid because you don't have discipline. When you have discipline, you are blessed to have certain control over women. I'm telling you, you might not believe this because if you have, y'all put a 1 in the chat. Any man who has discipline, I mean supreme discipline in his life, put a 1 in the chat if you know the power that gives you when you interact with women. When you have no weaknesses that a woman can exploit. Because a woman will exploit your weaknesses. Don't get me wrong. There is some things that are common to all women. Women are wild to exploit your weaknesses. You look out through the annals, the annals of history. Women have capitalized on men's weaknesses. That's just what they do. But if you don't have no weaknesses for her to exploit, you are the most amazing man she's ever met. You have to capitalize on your own power as a man. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to see through it. Let me tell y'all something. You got to know that a woman who has no moral fiber and she uses her body to get what she wants out of men, that woman is not above sleeping with multiple men within the same 24-hour period. And there are some of these women who have husbands. Imagine being married to a woman who will go sleep with someone and then come sleep with you the same night or within the next day. She may go sleep with this man one night and then come and sleep with you the next night and within a 24-hour period. But how did you get married to her and the other man didn't? See, let me tell y'all something. If you have a cheating wife, you married the scallywag, the man she's cheating with didn't. He recognized who she was. You didn't. So I don't want you to avoid women. I want you to know how to not become that man who marries the wrong woman, who ties himself to the wrong woman. That's what I want you to be. And you do that by mastering yourself first. You have to master yourself. I'm not talking about playing around with it. I'm talking about you have to master yourself. Because I'll tell you this. You got to understand. A woman will intentionally marry the man she's least attracted to in order to maintain some level of self-control. You understand? That's the only thing a woman could really ever control is a man who is weak for her body. She can't control nothing else. The only control a woman has ever had is to control over a man who is physically weak for her, a man who can't resist her. Book of Proverbs explains perfectly fine how a simple man can get caught up with that woman. He's so entranced by her body. He's so entranced by the things she does. Russell Wilson is one of those men. Russell Wilson admitted that what had made him marry Ciara was the way she danced, dog. He admitted this with his own mouth. The way she danced. He saw a video of her, and the way she danced made him say, okay, that's going to be my one right there. He didn't say anything else. He said, that's it. That's what made him pursue her. And she's still using her body now. You see the little clips they have sometimes where she'll just be twerking or she'll be shimmying like a snake and doing all of that. And he's totally amazed by it because that's all it takes for a weak-minded man who hasn't mastered himself. You have to master yourself. And the man that a woman is most attracted to, he renders her helpless. And women only want that temporarily. A woman don't want to feel helpless around you every day. So she'll choose a man that's safer. When you hear women say they choose the safe guy, they don't mean the guy who's safe and won't do anything to them. They mean the guy that they can control. A woman never wants to marry the guy that she can't resist. When she turning the putty around him, she don't want that. She doesn't want that. When she's away, she may say that. But then when she's around him and she gets the feel of the magical power of that, it's almost too much for her sometimes. And I'm telling you this from experience. If you've ever had a woman who just can't resist you, then you know the difference. You can tell if you haven't, let's say you haven't seen her for 3 weeks, a month. And then when you see her, she's like putty. After a day or two of that, you can see her energy change because she knows that she's starting to go overboard with the lovey-doveyness, with the being all under you and all that. And she can tell by your reaction that you're starting to, as a man, you're starting to kind of like put a barrier up right there. Because if you're a man, there's only so much of that shit you want. All that lovey-dovey and cuddling and all that, man, there's only so much of that as a man you're going to deal with. Now, unless you are weak for a woman and you are willing to accept things that you don't like for her. But if you're not, man, there's only so much of that shit. I don't care how great the woman is. There's only so much of that lovey-dovey cuddling shit you want at one particular time. You know what I mean? That's it. And so you got to remember that a woman will marry you and not even, and having sex with you can be a chore. And here's the problem. You may say, well, you just said it ain't all about sex. Once you marry a woman, it is. It turns into a big thing because that is the woman who is in your house every day. So she becomes your primary, if not your only option for intimacy, unless you have another wife. And even with that, if you're a man who has a wife and you are sneaking around and tipping around and doing all that, man, you're not a man. If you're a man, then you tell your woman from the beginning that you want her and you want another wife, that you're not gonna have just one wife. That eliminates any woman who's not with that. The problem is you men are afraid. Never be afraid to lose a woman that you already don't have. You can't lose a woman. A woman can lose you. You can't lose a woman initially by telling her what you want and she ain't with it. You never lost her. She wasn't yours. She wasn't going to be yours. She don't want to live how you live. She don't want to accept the way your life is set up. And you can't adjust that. You can't compromise who you want to be as a man so you can have a woman. Because you have already started out being less of the man you're supposed to be in order to get that woman. That's never going to work. A woman never appreciates you compromising yourself for her. Also, a woman's affinity for you, and never forget this, a woman's affinity for you is based solely on what you do and how it makes her feel. That's why men who trick off on women don't get that. It's not a position of power, because that doesn't make a woman feel like anything except she deserves whatever you're giving her. But that's how pimp game works. Whatever you say and do, mostly say, and how it makes a woman feel, that's what her affinity for you is based on. It's never going to be based on anything else. It's never, I don't want you to be a fool and believe that it's one day going to start to be based on someone else. It's never going to be based on anything else except what you do and say and how those things make her feel. If that feeling changes, her femininity changes. Her feminine interaction with you changes. Her feminine energy towards you changes. So you got to limit the amount of benefits that a woman can get from you without earning them. If you keep her in the mindset of getting what she earns, then she appreciates everything because in her mind, she knows she earned it. A woman will never appreciate anything she didn't earn. If she didn't earn it or work for it, she won't appreciate it. No woman on earth has ever appreciated anything she didn't earn or work for. That's just not how women are wired. They're not wired like that. That's just, if you think they are, go out there and keep on tricking then. But just know, see, and here's the problem with tricking. I don't want y'all to think I'm knocking tripping. I'm knocking tricking. I'm not. But if you're gonna be a trick in the most effective and efficient way. Pay for what you want, get what you want, enjoy it, avoid the emotional attachment and all the other stuff, and then just live that life if you're gonna live it. The problem is you think you can trick your way into a wife. You can't. If you trick your way into a wife, then that woman is going to extract your resources until she's tired of you, and then she's going to leave you and take half of your shit. Any man who's ever had a woman leave him and take half of his shit, he tricked his way into the marriage. He would trick him from day one. The woman, they never had to do nothing but show up. What? Show up? I want you to ask yourself this question before you decide that you want to wine and dine a woman, you want to trick off on her. Once you master your libido and your libido don't control you, and you manage your wood and your wood don't lead you around, ask yourself this: how did your life change for the better because she showed up? And if you could say, man, my life changed tremendously because she showed up, maybe you should give her some compensation. But if your life doesn't change tremendously because she showed up, man, you ain't got time to be whining and dining and dating women. Because I promise you, brothers, and I want y'all to understand this: if you get on your mission in life as you elevate, you're going to come across women on every level. Every level. And I promise you, if you're on level 3, the women on level 4 are even better. Let me get a swig of water here. If you're on level 4, the women on level 5 are even better. They're sweeter, they're nicer, they're more focused, and they understand more that they need to benefit what it is you're building. They come to you benefiting what it is you're building. That's what they do. And you as a man just have to understand, once you master your wood and stop applying these simp principles and start applying pimp principles, I'm telling you, your interaction with women is going to change because you're going to eliminate all the scallywags. You're going to eliminate all the women who believe that they're just put here to extract resources. And I'm telling you, man, you got to understand that, they say behind every great woman, there's a great man. I'm telling you, brothers, I ain't going to necessarily say that, but if you're a great man, Tara John just said it. If you're a great man and you're on your mission, man, God will put the woman on your path who is meant to benefit your life at that particular time. I'm not saying that woman is meant to be with you forever, but we can't think in terms of forever. Never. We can't think in terms of forever when it comes to a woman. If you end up 80 years old and you and that woman still together, blessings upon blessings. But you got to look at where you are in your life and how does this woman benefit where you are right now. And you have a lot of guys who talk, they're married, but they've been with their woman since they were like 17, 18 years old. They were her first. That's a guy who you can listen to about marriage. I'm not going to listen to no guy tell me about marriage who chose the wrong woman and it failed and chose the wrong woman, he's still with the wrong woman and he's miserable. You know what I'm saying? Or chose the wrong woman, now he's taking care of a kid that ain't his because he don't believe in divorce. All that right there. I don't want to hear nothing from that, man. Let me ask y'all a question. When you want to listen to somebody tell you about financing and investment, do you listen to a man who lost everything in the stock market? Nope. If you want to listen to a man tell you about fitness and nutrition, do you listen to a man who sit around and eat ho-hos and dum-dum and drink beer all day? Nope. If you want somebody to tell you how to successfully start a business, do you listen to a man who every business venture that he ever started failed immediately, didn't make it the first year? Nope. If you want to listen to a man about how to become more spiritually astute and develop your relationship with God, do you want to listen to a man who can't tell you not one example of God delivering him or doing anything? No, he ain't got no testimony at all? No. So why in the hell would you listen to a man tell you about women and all he ever did was fail with them? Why would you listen to a man tell you about marriage when all he ever did was in multiple marriages fail at all of them? This is the only thing where men are willing to listen to failure conversation, to failure dynamics. You can't take failure information and make it successful. Failure information is based on fear. And that fear is not based on anything other than choosing the wrong woman. All men's fear about relationship is based on choosing the wrong woman. That's it. So when a woman's feminine energy goes away, when the benefits that you give her go away, that just means she wasn't raised to be feminine, a feminine wife by women who were raised to be feminine wives. That's why I tell you, men, before you jump off in there with a woman, you need to see if her mama and daddy are together. You need to see if her grandma and grandfather are together on both sides, unless they're passed. If they're still alive, you need to see if they're together. That woman needs to come from a long history of marriage. That's the only way. She has to be trained. Every woman that she looks at in her life has to be a wife. And I'm not talking about just a married woman. I'm talking about a wife in the traditional sense of the word. Otherwise, why are you marrying a woman who has no experience at being a wife? You got to teach her how to be your wife while she being your wife. Have you ever tried to teach a woman that's 25 or older? You can't teach her shit. You can't go reprogram her. She's gained too much success from these simps and these beta males by being who she is. So if a woman has dealt with 5 beta males, you're going to have a hard time convincing her that she need to brush up and change and condition who she is into something else because she could just go have another beta male. It's not until a woman gets much older that she realizes beta males don't measure up. Well, by that point, it's too late. That's why when women get to a certain age, you have to avoid them. When a woman get to a certain age, man, you cannot meet a woman that's 40 and think that you just can't. Unless you meet one of those women who say they're a 40-year-old version or something like that, like Venus Williams. You meet your 40-year-old version or something like that, yeah, maybe. But otherwise than that, and then even then, you need to try to figure that thing out, get some proof. But you can't allow yourself to just settle for something. You got to be patient enough as a man and enough self-control. And also, you got to build a life that you love so much that you don't feel empty without a woman. Because let me tell you something, brothers. If you feel empty without a woman, eventually you're going to settle for anything. You're going to settle for the wrong woman if you feel empty without a woman. Whatever that emptiness is, it ain't got nothing to do with a woman. Fill that emptiness up with things that benefit your life, things that bring you peace, things that bring you solitude, things that bring you tranquility, things that make you feel blessed, that make you feel the blessings that you have in your life. You can't replace those things with the presence of a woman, because the presence of a woman is not a selfless thing. Women aren't selfless. Women are selfish. Women are naturally selfish. No matter what a woman contributes to your life, she's selfish. Believe me when I tell you that. Emotionally, women are selfish. So by the time you're emotionally attached to a woman, man, if she's the wrong woman, you are lost and you are stuck until she leaves you high and dry. See, here what you got to understand. I want y'all to understand this. The same way a jacker can never stop being a jacker. He just got to get too old to jack anybody. And some of them never make it that old. They get too old and they think they not too old and they try to jack somebody and get killed. Every jacker I've ever known end up dying young. Or got put in a situation where he didn't die young, but he was in such bad shape that he just couldn't, his life was never the same. That's the same you got to understand. A hoe can never stop being a hoe. She'll never stop being a hoe. Even when her sex drive is lower, it's still high for who she is. So if you meet a 50-year-old woman that's a hoe, she going to have the highest sex drive of a 50-year-old woman you ever met in your life. You meet a 60-year-old woman who's been a hoe her whole life, she going to have the highest sex drive ever for a 60-year-old woman. A hoe cannot stop being a hoe. Her sex drive eventually lowers enough for her to not be controlled by her box like she was before, but eventually her box will gain control of her. See, when she's young, her box control her all the time. I'm talking about, man, look, she out getting ran all the time when she young. Them early 20s, all the way up through late 20s, man, she is out there getting it. You understand me? She is out there getting it. But as she gets older and more mature, her sex drive slows down because at a certain point, her body's not going to be able to reproduce anymore. You understand me? Her body's not going to be able to do. So when they tell you things like, well, if a woman have a baby with an older man, then something's going to be wrong with the baby. Nope. That's if an older man have a baby with an older woman, them old eggs is not going to produce the right kind. Listen, the body, the physicality of the baby ain't going to be right. Spiritually, the baby going to be fine. But because think about this, does it make more sense? Y'all tell me this. Does it make more sense that a man's sperm gets old and can't really reproduce, but he keep producing it forever? Or does it make sense that a woman's eggs get old to the point they eventually get so old the body stop producing them? They get so old and decrepit that the body say, man, we don't even make these no more, man. Ain't gonna make no baby with these. The egg can't make no baby and the body can't hold no babies. Which makes more sense? That the body that finally gives up on producing gets older, or the body that never stopped producing just gets so old and bad that, you see what I mean? So I want y'all to understand this, man. I want y'all to keep in mind that, and that was totally off topic, man, but I had to throw it in because it just made sense. So here's what I want y'all to understand, brothers. I want y'all to understand that even when her box doesn't control her like it did before, she's still far less trustworthy than any other woman, because eventually her box will win. Her lust will win eventually. It may take longer. So a woman that was married at 25 that cheated on her husband every week, she may be 45 or 50 and she may cheat on him once a month, once every 2 months. She may hold out as long as she can. She may cheat on him 4 times a year, but she gonna cheat because it's in her. It's in her. So I put it to y'all like this, man. You got to know that it's okay for you to be as masculine as you possibly can. There's nothing wrong with you being as masculine as you can, because here's what you got to understand. A woman will leave a nice guy for a bad boy, then complain and try to make the bad boy nicer. Think about that. A woman will leave a nice guy for a bad boy and then complain and try to make the bad boy nicer. Why? Because those types of women are controlled by a wicked source. Women who like bad boys are bad women. If you like bad boys, you don't like good men. Now, there are many benefits to having a good man. So yes, she will give a good man a try. But those women, all a woman got to do is say that she prefer a man with a little edge, or a man who commands the room or something. All the woman got to say is that, and you should avoid her, because she doesn't even know what qualities make a masculine man. These simple things cannot be overlooked. And let me tell you the worst mistake that men make. And I know some of you have probably made this mistake, and I want you to never make this mistake again if you have, and I want you to never make it if you haven't. If you can see a woman's history and you can see that her type is something the opposite of you, never believe that you're going to get the best of that woman. Never believe that woman is going to be about you. She is not. A woman has a type for a reason. Now, a woman may go through enough rigmarole and enough chaos with her type that she say, well, I ain't going to be my type, because my type always take me down through there. That's just a woman who's hurt and recovering from her pain. That's just a woman who's disgusted and she's just recovering. When she gets back to herself and she gets whole enough to be confident enough that she can hold her own, she's going to go right back out there to her type. You can never take a woman seriously if you're physically not her type. You can't do it. I promise you, she's going to go and she's going to go be with that man who's her type. It don't matter how far you take her away. You can take her from the curb to the burbs. When you take her to the burbs, if her family's still down there on the curb, she's going to go down to the curb sometime and see her family. And if you in the burbs, you ain't really trying to go down there on the curb too much. And there's still somebody down there in the gutter that she gonna deal with. I've seen this happen. Man, listen, brothers, I've seen this happen since I was 10 years old to men. So the things I'm telling you are not just things that I've learned in my life and I've experienced in my life or that I see men my age or your age experiencing. I've been watching this shit take place since I was 10, observing the scene, observing how pimps move, observing how simps move, observing how tricks move, observing how nice guys move, observing how bad boys move. So when I tell you I learned things from observation. Anybody sat me down and ran down no game to me. I learned from observing things. Now, if I had a question, I'd ask, but and men are always open to answering questions. They don't want to overexpose you to information, but if you already want to know the answer, then they know you already got some information and curiosities about it at least, and they want to make sure you get it right. So, man, I'm telling you, brother, I've been seeing this work forever. It has always worked. Man, a woman will know that you're not her type, and she will let you pay for an expensive wedding. She will let you wine and dine her family. She will let you take care of everything. She will let you do all of that. And the moment you go through a situation, that bitch will bail on you. She will bounce. Anytime some trouble come your way, she will be gone. You got to understand, man, the majority of men have never even had a woman in their life who would try to hold them down through a bid. Even if they did a year in jail, she wouldn't try to hold them down. She'd be vamoose from the time they walked through the gates. So I want y'all to understand, man, you have to make sure this woman is about you. You can't do that if you're tricking off on her. So if you're going to be tricking off on her, just be a trick. Don't try to turn that into something else. You can't do that if you're chasing her. If you're chasing her, don't try to turn that into nothing else. Just chase her. And if you get her, you get her. But don't take her seriously, because a woman you have to chase doesn't like you. And let me tell y'all something. Don't believe just because a woman won't have sex with you. Because I'm going to tell you, if a woman has sex with you when she first meets you, she's a hoe. I'm not saying if a woman wants to, she's a hoe. No, I'm saying if she does. If you meet a woman and within the first week you have sex with her, any woman who has sex with you, now let me say this and then I'll give you a caveat. Any woman who has sex with you without any commitment is a hoe. Now, if she's been intimate with other men before without commitment, that's not the woman I'm talking about. I'm talking about a woman who has been intimate without commitment. And by commitment, I mean somebody putting her in the wife position. I'm not even necessarily saying legal marriage, but somebody putting her in the wife position. Look how many women that eliminates from you trying to be serious with. And let me give you the caveat. Now, there is a woman. There's two kinds of women. There's a woman who can resist having sex with you because she don't want to have sex with you. Then there's a woman who doesn't have sex with you, but it's the hardest shit she ever did in her life. The only thing keeping her from having sex with you is you're a man and you standing on principle. Because if you was with it, she wouldn't be able to resist you. Two different types of women. There's the woman who can't resist you, but she doesn't want to cross her spiritual line. And there's the woman who can resist you because she don't want you anyway. Again, the Russell Wilson Sierra situation. They were celibate for a while before they got married. Why? Because she ain't really like him like that. And you may say, man, look at all them kids they got. Of course, the man signed for millions of dollars. A woman gonna have your kids. If you choose the wrong woman, kids are a trap. They're gonna keep her tapped into your finances even when she leaves you. So I want y'all to understand it's just about picking the right woman, and it can't be physical. Yes, physical attraction is the initial attraction, but you can't wife her up because of the physical. It just doesn't work, man. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work. And see, let me tell you something. What you have to do is be a listener. You ask the question, man, how do you find out all this stuff about a woman? Man, that take a while, don't it? No. If you engage a woman in conversation and don't judge her and ask her all type of crazy judgmental questions about what she's telling you, a woman will expose everything you need to know about her true essence and intentions if you give her the mic and a comfortable, non-judgmental platform to speak her piece. She'll tell you everything. Man, women have told me their life story in the first conversation. I remember, man, I had a conversation with a woman, man, and you got to have that type of spirit that's inviting. And a woman will open up and she'll get things off her chest that she's been wanting to talk to somebody about forever. Now, in her mind, she thinks that's an emotional attachment. It's not. You've just been an emotional sponge. Emotional attachment, emotional sponge are two different things. And when you've been emotional sponge, you've allowed a woman to pour off her grievances and you've accepted them and you've listened to them and you've bantered about and you just, a woman will tell you everything you need to know. And you cannot convince yourself that maybe she's different or maybe she's changed or maybe that didn't affect her. A woman tell you a story that she was touched when she was young. Hey, man, God punished that person who touched her, but she's damaged. I don't want a woman who been touched when she was young. I'm not finna wipe that up. I can't. She's been tainted. Her innocence was taken from her. Once the innocence is taken, she'll never get it back. Ever. So that's a part of that woman. You shouldn't want to marry a woman who lost her innocence, man. You just can't do it. Now I get it. That sounds kind of facetious, but it's not. As a man, you got to remember, yes, somebody should have protected her, but you got to protect you. I hate it for her that somebody didn't protect her better than that. But that don't mean nothing to bring that shit into my life, though. You understand me? I'm not going to bring it into my life because that woman has scars from that and they'll never go anywhere. Those scars never go away. They never go away. You understand me? And so you just can't do it. And I'm going to be honest with you. Now, that is something that's hard to get by. Like, there are many women that you meet who've had that happen to them, but they all are from a certain environment, bro. I'm telling you, if you can understand the need to avoid trying to make a ran through scallywag your wife or your woman or any of that, then you can avoid a lot of these pitfalls, man. You can avoid a lot of them. And you got to remember this. Every woman's body belongs to one man more than all others. Every woman's body does. I'm telling you. And if you meet her and she's past a certain age, it's not going to be you. If you meet a woman that's 30, 35, 40, it ain't going to be you. That man she's already met that man if she's been active. So you see the need to not deal with women who have these body counts? You just can't deal with them because these are the type of things you're dealing with. If you meet a woman and she been sexually active for her whole life, then you meet her and she's 35, there's a man out there who owns her body. All it takes is opportunity and the proper circumstances for her to be intimate with that man. That's her choice, but you can't wife that. You can't wife that. So a lot of time men end up in a situation with the wrong woman simply because they chose the wrong woman, because they don't know how to choose. These are things that you can't overlook. You can't overlook that. And I'm telling you from experience, man, listen, there's a few women out there who body belong to me. You understand? So no matter who they're with, if I wanted them, I could get them. I could literally pop up in their town, let them know I'm there, and they'll find a way to get to me. It doesn't matter who they're with. And it's always been that way. I could have always done that. And that's just no lie. I'm telling you, man, there's women out there. And you got to every woman has that if she's been intimate. Like, she just has that. And we like to say, where's the first man she was with? No, not all the time. Not all the time. If the first man she was with, if that was the man she was meant to be with, yes. But otherwise, man, I'm telling you, bro, y'all got to understand that you have to believe what you think you know about women because it's true. It's true. But not all women have the scars that make them dangerous. See, scars make a woman dangerous. Heartache makes a woman dangerous. Being lied to, being cheated on, being beat on, that's what makes a woman dangerous. A woman who hasn't had any of those scars, she's just not a dangerous woman. That woman only becomes dangerous when you drop the ball on your manhood and masculinity and start trying to placate to the broad and trying to, step and fetch a kowtow to the broad to make her feel like she the best thing ever happened to you and all of that type of shit. Man, you can't live that life. Ain't no woman the best thing ever happened to you. Being born a man is the best thing ever happened to you. The best thing that ever happened to any of you men is that you were born a man. The best thing. And let me tell you something, man. Here's what you got to understand. You can never give a woman everything. You can only give her what she earns, and she'll never earn everything. Because here's what happens. Nothing is ever enough for a woman who realizes she has everything. A woman who has everything, you give a woman everything. A man gives a woman everything. She'll stop having sex with her husband and go fuck somebody else. You dig? She will stop having sex with her husband and go sleep with somebody else. Why? Because she has everything. When you give a woman everything, she has nothing else to get from you. She loses interest in getting things from you. So she'll keep taking everything you're giving her, but she needs to go get something different from someone else. And the only thing she can get different from someone else that you're not giving her, only thing she can cut off is the sex from you. She can only cut off sex from you. She can't cut off you giving her money. She can't cut off you paying bills. She can't cut off you, she can't cut off you doing any of that. But she can cut off being intimate with you and go get that from someone else. And if you give her everything, that's what she's going to do. Man, you got to make a woman work. You understand me? You got to make a woman work and show and prove every day that she deserves to be in your life. Because the day she doesn't prove it is the day the bitch don't deserve to be there. You understand me? You got to remember, your life is a business. Your life is your first business. Now, the woman coming into your life, she got to work. Whatever level she started on, she got to work her way up. Now, if you are patient and you build in your life and you hold off on the scallywags, you can be the woman who comes right in and slides right into an executive position. But if you deal with scallywags, you got to deal with a woman who work in the kitchen, busting tables and doing that type of shit. She's low level. And a woman who's low level, she can only be in your life at that level. There's an executive level in your life. That's where you are. Any woman you wife up need to come into your life on the executive level. You see how you avoid all the scallywags and all the women that's out there trying to get resources because they can barely eat. The majority of women out here, no matter how much money they make, the majority of women out here, man, are struggling financially because they don't have any guidance. But when you come across a woman who can fit right into the executive level of your life, man, that's a woman you hold on to because she can benefit your life immediately. A woman who ain't got shit can't benefit the life of a man who got all his shit together. She can't benefit you. Only thing she can give you is sex. And once you master your need to get laid all the time and give your testosterone away, when you have sex with all the women, you give your strength away. It is not for kings to give your strength away to women. When you give your strength away, that means give your testosterone away. As a man, your testosterone is your strength. And so we have to remember as men that it is not meant for us to do these types of things. It's not meant for us to be lames. It's not meant for us to be simps. It's not meant for us to allow women to get the best of us. Man, it's not meant for us to do that. We can't afford to do that as men. You understand me? We can't afford to do that. So you got to keep in mind that the most powerful position you can have as a man is being in a situation where a woman can't control you. Two things you can't let a woman do. You can't let a woman control you. You can't let a woman console you. Never do that. So don't have these old emotional conversations with your broad. Don't do that, man. A woman will never forget the time she saw you cry over some shit. Now, unless really nothing. If you lose your dad, you better go cry to yourself. A woman will never forget the day she saw you cry. You got to remain. You got to always be the strongest man that your woman has ever met. You got to, whatever level of strength you have in the beginning, you got to maintain that level of strength. That's what God put us here to do. That's why he ain't put us here to be, lovey-dovey and pillow talking with these brows and all that, man. He ain't put us here to do that. He put us here, man, to be men. Men are on a different level from women. Men are here, women are here. When you get into all that lovey-dovey pillow talking shit, you bring yourself down here because she can never come up. Only way y'all can be on the same level is if you lower yourself. You know what I'm saying? There's God, there's man, there's woman. So we can never be up there. She can never be up here unless we lower ourselves. And so never lower yourself. You got to remember that, man. You got to maintain a position of power, and that's the problem. You get into these situations where these men telling you, well, the woman is the prize and the woman is all this and all that and blah. I'm not telling you a woman can't be a gift to you, but a gift and a prize are two different things. A prize is something you won. The prize? Who won a prize? I ain't in no motherfucking sweepstakes. Who won a prize? I ain't in no motherfucking raffle. So when you think about it, you got to remember that as a man, it's your job to protect your interest. You have to protect your life. You have to protect your money. You have to protect your peace. You have to protect your sanity. And the way to do that is remember that, man, no scallywag deserves to be in your life. No scallywag deserves to be in your life. So if that's how a woman has lived her life ever since she's been in the world, man, you ain't got time for that. You can't deal with that type of foolishness at all, man. So listen, brothers, I just wanted to drop y'all in here, man. I just want to come in here and jump this thing out, man. Listen, man, I'll be back in here tomorrow, man. I'm gonna start coming in here, man. I want to get back into doing these streams, man. I kind of like coming in here, man, chop it up with y'all doing these streams, man. So I'm gonna let this stream, man. I'm gonna let it stay live, man, for a few hours, man. And then when the clock flip to AM, I'm gonna move it over to Patreon, man. So y'all watch it and check it out and enjoy it while you can, man. It's going over to Patreon. I do a community tab post on it and let y'all know, man, that it's over there. And you can always, man, join the Patreon, man, to get this right here, man. And listen, man, the information on my Patreon is unlike any other information unless somebody done copied my shit. You understand me? Because I'm going to be honest with you. When it boils down to it, brothers, and I'm not telling you that I'm this or that or somebody else is not this or that. What I'm telling you is information you get from a man who has always dealt with him from a position of power and never been hurt and never trusted the wrong woman and never wifed up the wrong woman and never believed that a woman was who she wasn't. Man, the information that you get from that man is just a different level of information. So anytime somebody has been through some heartache or got done wrong by a woman and they saying what I'm saying, they got that shit from me or a man like me, because you don't view it the same if you've been down. You view women from a position of fear if you've been down through there. And any man who's been down through there, you only went down through there because you chose the wrong woman. So I want y'all, man, to remember these things we talked about, man. And if y'all want a part two, man, y'all let me know, man, because there's a list of things that we could talk about what you need to know to avoid being that type of man who can meet the wrong woman and then put her in the wrong position. And that'll ruin your life, dog. We hear stories about it all the time. So listen, brothers, I appreciate y'all being in the building, man. It's been real in the field. Let me see. I got another suit chat. Black Suit, what's good, man? I've been rocking with you since 2020. And during that time, I was in a dark place because of my choice with women. Listening, you gave me clarity. Salute to you, brother, man. Listen, man, give yourself some props too, man, because applying it is what really gave you the clarity, man. Listen, I say these things, brothers, but I'm going to be honest with y'all. Nobody can make you take the information and apply it to your life. You got to make up your mind to do that. And when you make up your mind to do that, then you owe yourself credit for doing that, because it's a tough climb, man, to climb out of the quagmire, beta male septmanginitis, man. It's a deep ditch sometimes, man. It's a very deep pit to crawl out of sometimes. Sometimes you can't even see the top of it. You just got to keep climbing and climbing and climbing. And then when you get out of it, you see the light, man, and you start viewing the situations right. Then you come to the realization, man, that not all women are bad. It's just that you have to know what the bad ones look like. You just have to avoid them. Certain shit I'm going to avoid. A woman got tattoos all over her body. I don't give a shit how good she is. I'm avoiding that woman. I'm not finna take that woman serious, man. She got tattoos all over her body. I can't do it. I can't do it. I don't care where she from. I don't care. Woman got piercings all over her body. All big ass bull hooping on nose and all that, man. I can't do it. I can't do it. I just ain't gonna do it. Ain't no way. Woman ever been a stripper, man. I can't do it. I just ain't gonna do it. Woman got an OnlyFans, man. I ain't gonna do it. I just can't do it. You know, woman got five babies by 6 men. I ain't gonna do it. I can't do it. A woman ain't never took the time of her life to figure out what she could do to make no paper or do nothing, man. I ain't gonna do it. I ain't gonna do it unless she just unless she a woman who just been at home with her parents this whole time. She's just a virgin at home with her parents, waiting for her husband to come. I can't do it, man. I can't do it. There's a bunch of women, man, that the thing, a woman eat pork, man, I can't do it. Pork and seafood and all that shit, man, I can't do it. Woman smoke cigarette, weed, Black and Miles, anything, man, I can't do it. Can't do it. A woman, a liquor head, man, I can't do it. I can't do it, dog. So there's a bunch of women that I'm going to eliminate. You see what I mean? When you eliminate women who do things that bring problems with it, I can't do it. You know what I'm saying? I want to practice any type of witchcraft, man, I can't do it. I can't do it. You understand me? I ain't gonna never do it. I want y'all to understand that. So look how many women that eliminate. That eliminate a bunch of women right there. You know what I mean? So that's, as a man, you got to stand on type of principles that you don't compromise to take a chance on something that is always gonna go bad. You get with those type of women, man, shit always gonna go bad. Like Royalty said, man, all telltale signs of future problems. Those are all telltale signs of future problems. And sometimes not even future problem. The problem's already with her. She just know how to hide them well. You know what I'm saying? Woman listen to certain music, man. Women who listen to like rap and shit like that, man. I don't deal with women who listen to rap. I just don't, man. I can't take a woman serious who listen to rap, dog. So it's just gonna be so many women that you eliminate if you stick to your principles. And that's what I want you to stick to. I want you to stick to pimp principles. Pimp principles are like this. Here's what a woman got to have to come into my life. Here's who she got to be to come into my life. Here's what she's got to present to come into my life. Here's how she's got to live to come into my life. Do I compromise it? Hell no. You got to think about this, man. A woman who don't care nothing about her physicality. I ain't saying a woman got to have six-pack abs or do all that, man, but a woman don't care nothing about how she look physically, man. If she just let herself go, man, I'm not finna deal with that shit. It don't matter what the case is. It don't matter what. I don't care how nice she is, sweet she is. None of that shit matters to me. There's a list of things. There's a list of things that I have to take care of. So that's a list of things that she gonna have to take care of. That's the only way it's gonna be. And I want y'all to start developing that same mindset where you're not gonna compromise what you want. You don't compromise in no other facet of life. So how you gonna compromise with a woman? Here's the thing. You take your health, your wellness, your fitness, your finances, your spirituality, your peace of mind. You take all of that serious. Your social circle, you take all of that seriously. But the one thing that can destroy all of that, you don't know how to stand on principles with that. You don't know how to stick to your standard for that. Well, that's what we got to do, gentlemen. We got to start sticking to our standard on these things. That's the only way to make it work. So listen, man, I appreciate y'all, brother. I'm going to go ahead and slide on out of here, man. Look, y'all put God first. Keep grinding and growing, my brothers. And I'll see y'all on tomorrow's show. King Ray Ray is coming through tomorrow, man. We got a show on King Ray Ray channel tomorrow, man, and it's entitled, What Happens When You Give God a Full Yes and Dedicate Yourself to being the best man you can. It's going to be a phenomenal show, man. So y'all be looking out for that. That's going to be an early morning show. We're going to do that one first thing in the morning, man. So when some of y'all wake up, it'll already be up. It's going to be a 7 a.m. Central Standard Time, which means it'll be 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it'll be 5 a.m. on the West Coast. So it's going to be early, man. But I'm going to jump up and do that for y'all, man, because I got to go take care of some business tomorrow, man, and I'll do that for y'all tomorrow, man. But anyway, I appreciate y'all, brothers. Man, y'all put God first. Keep grinding and growing. Ladies, too, I appreciate y'all, man. I appreciate y'all coming in. Y'all put God first. Keep grinding and growing, my brothers. Peace.